I don't know why people feel the need to compete. Actually, I do know why. Because comparison is a shortcut the flesh takes to feel good about itself. Because it's easier to measure your life side by side with another, you know, than to actually deal with your own heart, your habits, and your unhealed wounds. But here's the problem. The moment you realize that the person you're competing with is not in a race with you, they're just operating in their God-given lane, God-given grace, suddenly competition turns into hatred. You know why? Because comparison breeds insecurity. And insecurity, when left unchecked, opens the door to envy. Every single time you compare yourself to someone, to another human being, you put yourself in a cycle, a perpetual loop of bitterness, inadequacy, and disappointment. Hence, you will always come up short because you're measuring yourself against someone who God never called you to be. The Word of God already warns us in Galatians 5:26. Let us not be conceited, provoking one another, envying one another. Envy and comparison are spiritual gateways. They invite bitterness, jealousy, strife. And the Bible is clear on what the fruit of those things produce. For where envy and strife exist, there are every evil work. So when you run around trying to compete with people over the most ridiculous things, like followers, upbringing, possessions, physical looks, opportunities, relationships, you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up for misery. You're sowing seeds that can never produce wholeness. Because competition and gratitude cannot coexist at the same time, you see. It's impossible. Gratitude says, thank you for my portion. Competition says, why don't you give me theirs? When you start comparing, you realize someone might be stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more favored than you would ever be. And that bitterness grows into envy. But here's the flip side. If you want to compete with the version of you from yesterday. Compete to grow, compete to heal, compete to be better. Compete to be more disciplined, more aligned than you were with God yesterday. You can set big goals, small